Ladies and gentlemen, my boys and girls, my gamers and gamettes, it's your boy, Juicy Jacob here. And Call of Duty is a franchise that a lot of us grew up with, including myself, and a lot of us hold near and dear to our hearts. So today we're going to be ranking every Call of Duty from Call of Duty 4 all the way to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 from worst to best. I will do the first 3 games and the spin-offs that came with those games, but to be honest with you, I was such a young kid whenever I was playing them that I don't remember much of them, and I'm also way too lazy to go back and play those games, so we're just going to stick with what we've got here. I also want to say that this video took a ton of time to make. I try to make this video the best that I can, and it's my first big project video, so I would appreciate any feedback that you can give me on it. Whether you disagree, agree, let me know in the comments. If you like or dislike the video, go ahead and leave that rating on the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of unique stuff on my channel. I make memes, I do let's plays, you name it, I do it. It's gonna be a fun ride on my channel, so I appreciate the subscription if you do. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in to the worst Call of Duty of all time, number 14. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare isn't inherently a bad game, but it is a bad Call of Duty game. This game isn't what we wanted, and it isn't what we were asking for at the time. And that blatant disregard for the community can be seen in the 3.8 million dislikes on the reveal trailer. To this day is still one of the most disliked videos in YouTube history. The zombies in this game was subpar, which can be expected by a non-Treyarch developer. And this game is really only the lowest on the list because I'm in the majority of the community and I wanted to see something different. For an advanced movement game, this game had anything you could ask for. The movement was spot on, it was good. The gunplay was great. The campaign was decent, but so was every other advanced movement campaign. But it's just not what we were asking for. And that's what cements Infinite Warfare as the worst Call of Duty game of all time. Now let's go ahead and move straight into number 13. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was Sledgehammer Games' first entry into the Call of Duty series, and it's where some of the community would say the Call of Duty franchise as a whole began to die. Sledgehammer introduced some seriously innovative things into this game, such as the exosuits, that started the advanced movement era in Call of Duty. They also introduced supply drops, something that you weren't initially able to buy. And in these supply drops were guns like the Obsidian Steed, the Bal 27 variant, and the Speakeasy, the ASM-1 variant. And those guns were so powerful that if you ended up with them, there's a pretty fat chance that you wouldn't use a different gun in the game. And because guns so powerful were stuck behind supply drops, whenever you were able to purchase them, it made the community feel like Activision and Sledgehammer were going toward a pay-to-win type of game. There were some cool things about Advanced Warfare though. There was a paintball feature where if you went into your settings you could change the blood and gore to paint and paintballs, and the maps were designed perfectly for the advanced movement. There was a classic game mode in the game that took away the exosuits, and it was damn near unplayable because the maps were designed so well for the advanced movement. The campaign was solid. Somehow Sledgehammer Games bagged Kevin Spacey. Yikes. But the zombies was terrible. I think collectively I've played the zombies for about 5 hours, and I probably will never play it again. And for those reasons, Advanced Warfare is number 13. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 12. Modern Warfare Remastered. This game was released bundled with Infinite Warfare, presumably because of the expected backlash from IW. Modern Warfare Remastered is a cinematic masterpiece. The campaign is so perfectly captured, and Raven Software couldn't have done a better job at remastering COD 4. And that's not why this game is so low on the list. This game is so low on the list because of Activision. The multiplayer at first was a tried and true remaster of the original COD 4. But then the microtransactions began to pour in, and that's why this game is so low on this list. The netcode of this game is awful. The amount of times I've been scoped in on someone directly only to not even hitmarker them is outstanding, and it happened way too frequently, even at launch. This was by far my least favorite game on the list that I had to capture footage for, and I played Infinite Warfare. Activision spoiled a lot of nostalgia, especially for me, considering this was one of the first Call of Duty games I have any memory of playing. This is one of the first video games I have any memory of playing. And that's largely in part due to the microtransactions that they felt the need to put into the game. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 11. Call of Duty World War II. COD World War II was what the community was asking for almost 3 years. After 3 long years of advanced movement, we finally had our classic Call of Duty back, and in an era that a lot of people were asking for. This game is one of my personal favorite CODs of all time. From a campaign standpoint in Call of Duty, you don't typically expect much. A few good hours of a fictional story, basically a playable war movie, and that's it. And that pretty much sums up what World War II campaign was. The launch was botched. I remember the launch of the game was awful, and it wasn't until months after release that the game was an enjoyable experience because of a course of updates. And after those updates ran through, the game was very fun. This game introduced divisions in the multiplayer and took perk choices for the most part away from the player and instead grouped up different types of perks. The airborne division, for instance, is what a lot of submachine gun players ran. The mountain division was the one that had Ghost in it. There was a very strong meta in this game. And at the time of this game being the most popular game, the PPSH was getting the hunts at being one of the most overpowered weapons in Call of Duty history. One rude awakening that I had in gathering footage for this game was how awful the movement was. The movement was completely stale. Supply drops in this game were probably one of the worst supply drop systems in any Call of Duty game, glorifying the opening of them by putting you in a lobby where people can see you open them. The map design was solid though. It's one of the current generation Call of Duty games where I can actually remember the maps off the top of my head, like Ardennes Forest and London Docks. Those maps are very good maps, very well designed maps. The zombies, on the other hand, is a different story. Sledgehammer once again failed at a zombies attempt by making it way too easy. They also tried an attempt at making zombies kind of like a horror game, and although this zombies mode is loads better than Advanced Warfare's Exo Zombies, it's still not that good. This game isn't a bad game. It's just the fact that there are 10 Call of Duty games that are better than this that puts it at the number 11 spot. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 10. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. COD 4 was not only revolutionary to the first-person shooter genre, but it was revolutionary to gaming as a whole, introducing things like the create-a class system that we've seen in many games since, and for the first time in the Call of Duty franchise, kill streaks, a huge staple in what Call of Duty is today. What a kill streak is when the game rewards you for getting so many kills in a row without dying, and in this instance, 3 kills in a row would grant you a UAV that would give away enemy positioning on your minimap, 5 kills would give you an airstrike, and 7 kills would give you a chopper. It started a story that has proven to be one of the best in gaming history, introducing iconic characters like Captain Price and Soap McTavish. It's also home to one of the most iconic speedrunning spots in gaming, with the F&G obstacle course that you enter as soon as you start the campaign in the game. I remember as a kid playing the campaign for the first time and reaching the All Gillied Up mission, and my hands began to sweat and I began to physically feel nervous because Infinity Ward did such a good job at immersing the player into the story. This is bare bones Call of Duty. In today's standard, this game wouldn't stand a chance. But Call of Duty wouldn't be anything that it is today without this point. And that's why COD 4 is number 10 on the list. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 9. Call of Duty World at War. World at War is basically COD 4 in a different skin. It had every feature in COD 4, like the create-a class system and the kill streak system of 3, 5, and 7. But there's one standout feature that puts World at War above Call of Duty 4. And that's the zombies. Upon completing the campaign of Call of Duty World at War for the first time, you are met with this cutscene. I remember seeing this cutscene for the first time as a kid that had just finished the campaign, and it sent chills down my spine. It actually scared me. Zombies started out with only one map, Nocturne Toten. Then Verrucht, Shinonuma, and Der Riese followed shortly after in DLC, Der Riese being considered by many as one of the greatest zombies maps of all time. The campaign was unique, having you play as different characters in different countries from different perspectives in the war, and it introduced Viktor Reznov into the game. The multiplayer, though, was a copy and paste from COD 4. It was basically COD 4 with a World War II skin. And if it weren't for the introduction of zombies into the franchise, this game wouldn't be number 9 on the list. Now with all that being said, let's hop right into number 8. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. The number 8 spot in this list was one of the harder spots for me to properly put a game at. For me, the 6 and 7 spots are interchangeable with this spot, but for a few reasons, Black Ops 4 takes the cake. BO4 took a leap of faith in not having a campaign mode, and instead introducing Call of Duty's first Battle Royale in Blackout. Blackout was one of the better Battle Royales that we've seen released, and Treyarch did a great job at supporting it. Specialists were still present in the multiplayer after the community made an outcry of not wanting them in this game after Black Ops 3 Specialists. Black Ops 4 is also where the community realized that they had had enough with 3-lane map design. And in Black Ops 4, there were hardly even any original maps. Maps like Summit, Firing Range, and Slums instead were remastered and put into the game. I personally didn't play a ton of Black Ops 4 Zombies, but from what I've seen in the community reception is that it's generally pretty good, with the exception of the Titanic map. The Battle Pass was introduced in this Call of Duty game, and the microtransactions system was one of the worst in any Call of Duty period. There was a point in the marketplace where you could buy a simple red dot sight with real money. Black Ops 4 also introduced the ability to heal yourself with a stim shot, and the movement and the gameplay in general were very good in this game. And for all of these reasons, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 cements itself at the number 8 spot. Now with that being said, let's move on to number 7. Call of Duty Ghosts. This is probably my most controversial placement on this list, seeing as how, in a majority of the community's eyes, this is the worst Call of Duty of all time. For me, it is my favorite game of all time, and I try to blind my bias in ranking Call of Duty Ghost here. Ghost was a very innovative game. It introduced new movement to the franchise with sliding and mounting, and though it did have one of the fastest time to kills, the gameplay was very polished. The map design in Ghost was very wishy-washy. There were some great maps like Strike Zone and some absolutely awful maps like Stonehaven. The DLC in this game was one of the best in the Call of Duty franchise, introducing maps with special characters like Michael Myers, and some of the best DLC weapons to date in the Ripper and the Maverick, 2 hybrid weapons, the Maverick being a sniper rifle assault rifle hybrid, and the Ripper being an SMG and assault rifle hybrid. The campaign was by far the lowest point in this game. It has no memorable moments or characters, and when you undoubtedly kill the main antagonist Rourke, he somehow comes back to life in a cliffhanger ending that we will probably never get to see how it actually ends. Instead of doing a zombies game mode, Infinity Ward deferred and went for something original, an alien wave-based mode called Extinction. It has mixed reviews, but for me I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for all these reasons, Call of Duty Ghost is number 7 on my list. Now let's go ahead and see what number 6 is. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I initially didn't have this game so high on my list until I had to play the game to get footage for this video. And playing this game after so many years, it absolutely blew me away. This is by far the best advanced movement game out of any Call of Duty, and it's one of the best CODs ever. This game amped up the advanced movement by introducing wall running on top of the exo movement. BO3 introduced specialists for the first time, and to be honest, you either love them or hate them. I really enjoy the mix that they add to the multiplayer. Black Ops 3 is home to some of the best score streaks in the franchise, introducing the RAPs and the very inconsistent GI unit. Just like what Sledgehammer did with Advanced Warfare, Treyarch perfectly nailed the maps to fit the movement in this game. The only downfall of Black Ops 3 was the supply drops. This was hands down the worst supply drop or microtransaction system in any Call of Duty game, and throughout the course of this game's span, players began to, quote, black out the black market, due to big influencers in the COD community breaking down the numbers behind the player's likeliness at getting high rarity items, and the fact that you were more likely to get a higher rarity item out of a supply drop you purchased with real world money. Truth be told, I don't remember much of the campaign, but from what I do remember, there's a fair amount of customization, and it was decently fun. The zombies was phenomenal, second to only Black Ops 2's. From someone who doesn't delve too much into the zombies lore, the maps were just so much fun to play, and I really enjoyed them. It's one of the few Call of Duty games where I've spent hours upon hours actually playing zombies. This one aside from World at War. And for those reasons, I have Black Ops 3 at the number 6 spot. Now let's finally hop into the top 5 greatest Call of Duty games of all time. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Before you get your panties in a wad, hear me out. In 2019, Infinity Ward and Activision knew that the Call of Duty franchise was on a downward spiral and decided to do a reboot of the Modern Warfare series. Modern Warfare is the smoothest Call of Duty to ever come out. The movement and the gunplay in this game are so fluid it's astonishing. It's almost like it isn't a Call of Duty game at all. I remember playing this game for the first time in the beta and being awestruck at how good the movement and the gunplay were. The weapon customization in this game is second to none. Infinity Ward did wonders with the gunsmith feature. My only main criticism of this game is how awfully the maps are designed, and that's due to the COD community begging for 3-lane maps to be scrapped. Modern Warfare saw the release of Warzone, a free-to-play battle royale mode that has consistently stayed on top of the charts for streaming services like Twitch since its launch. The Spec Ops in this game is awful, and I've not met one person who enjoys it, but it's such a small feature to this game that it's kind of overshadowed. This game is packed full with content and it has one of the best microtransaction systems in a COD game to date, giving the player the ability to buy exactly what they want, and not including weapons to only be purchased or gained through supply drops. All non-cosmetic items have the equal opportunity for players to earn them, whether they have or haven't purchased the Battle Pass. This game is the most beautiful Call of Duty game to drop to date, and the campaign gives nods to that, although I would say the story in the campaign tries to be a little too woke. For these reasons, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is at the number 5 spot. Now let's go ahead to number 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Infinity Ward had big shoes to fill after a solid Black Ops 1 game and the famous MW2 the year prior. Some would say MW3 was just a Modern Warfare 2 clone, but for me the game was executed perfectly. The campaign had a setting of a World War III scenario and is home to a scene that would make a grown man cry, with Soap getting absolutely fucking obliterated.
Come on, stay with me, son! Place! No. Makarov. Nose. Yuri. Oh no, 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 no! Soap! No, no, no! Place! Soap! You have to go, now!
Sorry for the spoilers, but the game is literally 9 years old. The story in Modern Warfare 3 perfectly wrapped up the Modern Warfare trilogy. At the time, MW3 had the best multiplayer the series had ever seen. Modern Warfare 3 introduced Kill Confirmed into the game for the first time, a game mode that has maintained its spot in the franchise since. MW3 was the most community-oriented COD to date, adding special community playlists based off of what the fans wanted. These are playlists that are still in the game as I speak. The multiplayer is also home to one of the most iconic maps of all time in Resistance. Its loading screen frequently is spotted on internet memes to this day. The special ops in general was mediocre. That's with the exception of the brand new survival mode that Infinity Ward introduced. A large majority of my time playing MW3 was spent with friends grinding round after round in survival. Survival was a wave-based combat mode that had you fighting NPCs with guns. You could purchase things like airstrikes and different weapons and different upgrades for those weapons. It was a very fun game mode. With all that being said, let's hop right into number 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 1. This game holds a special spot in my heart because it's the first COD I ever fell in love with. I could talk for hours upon hours of the memories I have with this game, but we'll save that for another video. This was a game that Treyarch made its name with, really. It was the first installment in the ever-popular Black Ops series. The campaign has you play as Alex Mason, the man strapped into the chair of probably the coolest loading screen in any game ever. You're being interrogated by the CIA for Russian intelligence, and the story consists of a series of war flashbacks. This is also the game where Frank Woods was introduced, probably one of the most badass characters in any Call of Duty game. The multiplayer in this game changed up the creator class system in a way we've not yet seen the franchise return to. You either loved it, or you hated it. You'd unlock every creator class item using Call of Duty points, and not the ones that you can buy with real money today. You accumulated COD points by completing contracts, leveling up, etc. You'd also be the richest Call of Duty player of all time if you played wager matches. A wager match was a party game mode playlist where you could gamble your COD points with other players. Modes like One in the Chamber and Sticks and Stones entered the franchise for the first time. Black Ops 1 was also home to 3 of the most iconic maps of all time in Summit, Firing Range, and the most famous of all, Nuketown. The zombies in this game was perfect. Some of the most iconic zombies maps of all time were in Black Ops 1, like Kino der Toten and 5, the map that gave me nightmares as a kid because of the dumbass Pentagon thief. I could go on for hours and hours about these last 3 Call of Duty games, but I want to keep this video at a decent length. Now with all that being said, let's move on to the second best Call of Duty game of all time. Modern Warfare 2. I see you behind the screen. Your fingers are itching to leave me a comment about how Modern Warfare 2 is the greatest game of all time. Relax your nostalgia for a second and hear me out. I initially had Modern Warfare 2 as the 7th Call of Duty of all time going into this video, but after playing this game for the first time since probably 2015, I had a huge blast with it. MW2 followed the stories of Soap and Price and introduced one of the fan favorite characters in Ghost. With the remaster of the campaign recently releasing though, I won't spoil the story for this game. The multiplayer was great for what it was. It was good, solid fun. And as annoying as it may be, there's something charming about going into an MW2 lobby for the first time in years and still getting one-man RB noob-tubed. For the first time in the franchise, MW2 introduced customizable skill streaks and is home to the most iconic kill streak in the franchise with the tactical nuke, something sought after by every Call of Duty player. MW2 also houses some very great maps like Terminal and Scrapyard, Terminal being the setting of a very controversial no Russian mission in the campaign that I will not be putting a clip of in this video. Infinity Ward introduced Spec Ops into the franchise, and it's one of MW2's best features, having built a whole community behind the mode and speedrunners. There was nothing like coming home after a long day at school and hopping on a Modern Warfare 2 with the boys. That and the next game on my list. So why is Modern Warfare 2 number 2 and not number 1? Well, for the simple fact that throughout the course of this game, Infinity Ward completely imploded, and the game didn't have any support past about 4 months of release. This next game on the list had all of that, and then some. With that being said, let's hop right into the undoubtedly greatest Call of Duty game of all time. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This game was hard to get footage for in an actual game, seeing as how, after logging onto my Xbox and throwing in my trusty Black Ops 2 disc, I was hit with this message. So instead I hopped into a private match, threw the bots onto the veteran difficulty, and proceeded to attempt to slay out on the bots. Black Ops 2 was all in all an amazing game. The story follows Black Ops 1's and introduces Alex Mason's son David, the character you play as the most. This campaign had branching storylines for the first time, and it made a majority of the choices in the story actually have some weight behind them. For the first time in the franchise, Black Ops 2 introduced the Pick 10 Create a Class system, giving the player full control over what they wanted to use. If you wanted 6 perks, you got it. If you wanted a beefy mega gun, you got it. If you wanted 2 lethals and 2 tacticals for some reason, well guess what? You got it. Black Ops 2 changed up the streak system by introducing score streaks. You would earn these based off of how much score you got in a life instead of how many kills in a row you got in a life. This encouraged players to move around the map more and actually play the damn objective. Black Ops 2 has the best selection of streaks in the franchise. For the most part, they were all equally overpowered, and the Swarm is to date the coolest streak ever. It's literally a bunch of drones just flying around the map, slaughtering your enemies. Doesn't get much more badass than that. Black Ops 2 had the greatest list of multiplayer maps to date. Aftermath is the exception here. That map is complete dog shit. Slums, Raid, Hijacked, and Standoff were perfectly designed, and gameplay flowed so well on these maps regardless of what the game mode was. This is also the first COD to introduce microtransactions with purchasable camos. Some of the coolest camos today, like the weaponized 115 camo and the Afterlife camo, the camo you see me using in this video. Black Ops 2 also released the first ever DLC weapon in the Peacekeeper, a submachine gun that played just as well as an assault rifle. The zombies in this game was astonishing. It had such a great season of DLC and the maps were so much fun to play. Transit aside, that map was not very fun. The design was awful and it felt like Treyarch was too ambitious with it, truly. Maps like Origins, Mob of the Dead, and Buried were loads of fun to play and were some of the only maps that I've ever actually worked toward the Easter eggs on. Now with all that being said, we've gone down every single Call of Duty from Call of Duty 4 all the way up to Modern Warfare 2019. And our list comes to a conclusion, with Black Ops 2 being the greatest Call of Duty of all time. Well, look who reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It took a lot of time to make. I had a lot of fun making this video. If you did like it, make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. I have plans on breaking down every Call of Duty of all time in a similar video style to this one, but instead of just generalizing the game, I want to break down every single game on a video by video basis. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you like it. We've got a lot of cool stuff planned on this channel, and I'd appreciate you sticking around. I also stream on Twitch almost every day from 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to just whenever the fuck I want to get off, basically. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you head over to my Twitch, give me a follow, have a chat with me. It'll be a chill time. And with all that said, I'm out.